No, that's the Tasmanian devil. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to episode 5. I say everybody with hopeful thoughts.
Hello, Mum.
Yep. We've just recorded about 5 minutes of episode 5 and then realised that I hadn't plugged my audio interface into my laptop. So I was talking into this very lovely microphone and it wasn't even plugged in
just for
or anything. So we've had to start again now. We might put a little bit of that in, especially maybe the moment of realisation.
I think we should.
I
can't hear the Coles microphone right now. I'm just hearing, I think, your laptop.
Oh.
Which might actually mean that it's only recording the laptop.
Do you know why?
It's because you haven't selected it, have you?
No, it's worse than that. I haven't plugged it in.
5 episodes. I did think this on the last episode recording. So everyone has.
I can't hear you.
I know. Well, yeah. So Harry has just unplugged his headphones, and now he can't hear me. So I'm going to give you context, the listener, being you. Yeah, I think the last episode when I listened back, his microphone was there's drumsticks.
Was longest lead. Oh no, I've run out of inputs. 1 second.
Let's see, professional. And it's funny because I think every episode so far I have been late, but now
sorry.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know we're talking to each other, listeners.
Oh no.
But yeah. I think this is the second time he's done this. I'm going to
stop my camera because that would be just wasted footage.
But yeah, I think it's the second time Harry has done this, where I think the last episode was just laptop microphone.
1 minute. I think you need to stop the recording for me to change the input. Oh,
all right.
God.
I'm pretty sure you recorded the last episode just on the laptop microphone as well.
No.
I think you did.
Did I?
I think so. I just remember hearing it being like, this doesn't sound like Coles.
But that was because my voice was totally ruined, wasn't it?
That's true.
I think it was
and it's such high quality microphone.
That the low quality voice was emphasised by its high qualityness. Yeah.
I think so.
Maybe. We are professionals though, so remember that. Remember that when you listen. As you listen, profiteroles, that we are. So, in episode 4, we were talking about I don't know where I'm going with that.
I don't know if was I supposed to start talking? I don't know.
No,
Okay, great.
I didn't know what I was going to say, but I started talking.
Well, I had a weird moment this week.
Okay.
Just kind of hard caveat.
A hard caveat? I was in a band called Hard Caveat. I wasn't.
Soft caviar. Where we again, with the whole concept of this, and I've just thought about this, where we've not met each other in person, but we've now chatted for a while, and the people have been with us on our conversations as our 5th long-form conversation, you could say.
Yes.
Outside of voice notes. Again, I feel like we've just been like parallel up to this point. So I'm quite thankful that you copied my YouTube name, because I can't remember if I said, but I, like a couple of months ago, depped for your good friend Lars, who does a theatre show, and he's amazing and friendly and wonderful, that you know really well. I think you're really good friends with him. Did you?
Yeah.
Him at some point or something like that?
I didn't live with him, no, but we had a lock-up, basically, next door to each other.
Yeah, and you both do the Jamiroquai show?
Yeah, so we both do Space Cowboy, which is a Jamiroquai tribute. I play percussion, Lars plays drums. He did offer me the Depp drum chair, but I basically didn't want to relearn the whole set list on drums. And also, there's some kind of click stuff and some, not really backing track stuff, but like ambient things that play throughout the gig, and that's the drummer's responsibility to start. And I mean, I've done that sort of thing before, but I just didn't really want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just didn't want that, because it's quite nice on percussion, because unlike when you're playing drum kit, you're less responsible for the band basically on percussion in a lot of respects, because nobody's watching you for the cues. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can like leap about shaking shaky eggs around, and then it's kind of just like, I know what I'm doing. I don't have to worry about anyone else. So I just didn't really want the responsibility, to be honest.
That's fair.
And my other argument was that if we have a gig then where it needs percussion and Lars isn't available, we still have an issue, because I can't dep and play percussion.
Yeah, anyway, which makes sense, and which is funny, because now there's murmuring talks of me depping in on that show.
Oh, that'd be wicked.
Exactly.
That'd be wicked.
Yeah, I agree. Which is why I was like, yeah, I think I just want to, just purely so the obviously we haven't met in person yet. We probably will. But potentially the first time that we meet in person would be on the same gig. But it's also the thought of it would be, and it was also the same thought that again, just thinking of what would have happened if, for example, I couldn't find you and never got in touch about the YouTube name, and you kept it, and we just kept on going, and then our first ever gig would have been, you're that guy that stole my YouTube.
That'd be amazing. What a horrible gig that would be.
Just playing, just going.
Yeah, just giving me the mince pies. Yeah.
So it's just one of those small world moments where it's just like, it really is a tiny music industry.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, it is funny how it works, really. Like, I mean, I got contacted the other week out of the blue off Instagram. A guy just said, "Oh, I really like you playing. Do you want to do some gigs? I'm local." I was like, send me the details.
Great. No.
So I'm actually out with them Saturday night. It's
amazing.
And it's really funny thinking about social media, because I always thought with social media, and we said this before, but you need loads of followers and things like that. But actually, you really don't.
Nope.
I've got most of my work on kit from Facebook. In fact, I've got most of my work on percussion from Facebook as well. And I've had people contact me through Instagram, and ended up having plenty of gigs with these people. So even though I've only got 600 and something followers on Instagram, you only need one person who's got some kind of something to offer. They need you for something to actually make a difference potentially.
If you're getting percussion gigs and stuff like that off of Facebook, what would you say is the cause of that? If you're not, I don't know, would you say you're particularly advertising yourself on Instagram, Facebook, that sort of stuff?
No. In fact, I actually decided this year I wasn't really going to post any of my playing on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
I decided to take a year off posting videos. Obviously, I haven't stuck to that because I posted on Saturday, me playing some absolute rubbish for 4 minutes. But basically, I didn't want to just keep posting. I wanted to take some time off and practice and work on some stuff, and then hopefully myself see a visual, audible difference when I started posting again. Basically, I wanted to just step away. It's same as deleting the channel and things like that. I just wanted to kind of have 12 months, make some sort of personal progress, and then come back basically. But I've been posting something every 3 months or so.
Yeah. So what would you say has made those people from viewing on Facebook, for example, get in touch and be like, "Hey, do you want this guy recently who was like, hey, do you want to do some gigs?" What would you say? Would you say there's a particular cause of that?
Well, the things on Instagram that I had up, I've got quite a few pictures of my kit at gigs and things like that on what looked like decent stages and looked like good quality gigs that you probably wouldn't have if you were totally useless, I'd like to think. So there is that, but also I've got videos of me playing with bands on there as well.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a difference. So on Saturday I posted a video. It's just me having a bit of a play, a bit of a solo. It's kind of stuff that no one's ever going to book you for, and I just wanted to put something up. I just
that was on the electric kit, wasn't it?
Yeah. I put it up on the electric kit, and
I like that.
I don't know. What do you mean? Did you like it? As in, did you enjoy it, or did you like that? No, I thought it was rubbish. Actually,
I just liked it.
You just liked it.
I didn't like it before. I saw it and I didn't like it. So that's just the kind of guy I am.
And now you've changed your mind. No,
I think I'm just gonna unlike it now. Sorry, carry on. Yep.
For a long time, I would, you'd be learning something new, some kind of lick you're working on, some kind of chop you're working on, and I would play 10-15 seconds, play it a few times, and then I'd try and go into something else, and I'd make a mistake. So I'd record myself playing. And then every 15 or 20 seconds I'd go, I don't like that bit. That wasn't very good. There's a big mistake there. I can't post that. And actually that video I put up was nearly 4 minutes long. Probably a minute of it I would have cut out maybe if I wanted to. But actually I felt like there was a decent amount of variety and there weren't any major mistakes in there. There were some bits that sounded a little bit rough, but there was nothing that made me think, I can't post this because that's a real big, error. And I was actually quite pleased with that because that's one of the things I've really been working on is, consistency and, being able to get in and out of things a lot easier, basically. And I have the other issue of being a left-handed, right-footed person who plays left-handed hi-hat, right-handed ride cymbal. So I play
open hand.
I'm open-handed, and then I play right-handed when I play wide.
This is a segment that's great for the people that listen to this podcast that aren't drummers.
Yeah. Let me explain. So most drummers, So most drummers will be. Most people are right-handed, right-footed, or left-handed, left-footed. I'm left-handed, right-footed, and when I started playing, I started having lessons at school, and it was like a 20-minute shared lesson, and they didn't even realise I was left-handed until they saw me write my name down one week. So I basically started learning already, and then ended up playing open-handed just because the lessons were so short. There was no time to change the kit around for a 3-person 20-minute lesson. So that's how I ended up doing that, and and then it was only when I saw another drum teacher, and he got me playing. I used to have the ride cymbal on the left next to the hi-hats, which looks really odd, even if you're not a drummer, because the kit looks like massively off balance. So for purely aesthetic reasons, I learned to play right-handed. And that's how I've played ever since.
There we go.
But it means that when you try and learn something, you have to kind of learn it both ways, more so than you would normally have to do, just because you need to be able to get in and out of it in a way where you don't really know which hand you're going to end up on. So you need to be able to do both. So that's something I really struggled with for a long time, was linking stuff together and like, oh, I've ended on the wrong hand and now it's thrown me off. So that was a big thing, which I've actually spent a lot of time working on, basically.
Interesting. And just to tie this back into like for everyone that isn't a drummer, welcome back. We'll go on about like
They've skipped that bit.
Yeah, put like a timestamp. The way you're saying about posting and like chopping out stuff, that's just a universal thing when it comes to whatever, where it's when you're posting something about yourself, no matter what it is, there's always the element of like, you will see so much more detail than anyone else will all the time. And it's funny to say that, because actually for me personally, especially when I'm consuming content on the internet, I find it a lot nicer now to see more, I say organic people, that's a weird sentence, but in the sense that they're actually posting their mistakes. They feel a lot more like a human, where Instagram notoriously is the highlight reel of people, and you're like, oh, how do they have this such amazing life? Well, you don't know if they do. No. So seeing people make mistakes, do their genuine thing, I'm like, actually, that for me anyway is what I want to see more of, and will be like, follow and see on the feed. And apparently, like, you will not like the posts.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, it's like I saw it more as like less of here's a showcase of me playing. It was more like, here's me doing a bit of practice on a Saturday or whatever it was. You know.
Well, like your stories where you do here's the not so sexy parts of gigs.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's nice, you know, and I'm more up for posting that kind of stuff, because it's less polished. It's easier to post that sort of thing in a sense than just like, right, I'm going to work on a piece for 12 months and then I'm going to post it. And you made a really good point with Instagram there, because I was actually on a podcast recording last week.
Oh, I see how it
with
is.
Not for
No,
I wasn't. I was producing it.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, he was better looking as well.
We did it, everybody. We lasted 5 episodes, and now I hate him.
And it wasn't even a male. It wasn't even a male. Anyway, I was on a podcast, and they were talking about Instagram and social media, and one of the things is like what you see. Let's say you follow, like I do. You follow some drummers, you follow some fitness people, maybe for me, I follow some climbers, I follow some, you know, car enthusiast people, whatever. And it's like, so what you see is, and the way your brain interprets it is, my car isn't good enough, my drumming isn't good enough, I'm not fit enough, I don't have enough of this. And like, whereas actually these aren't the same person.
No.
These are different human beings that you're seeing, and they don't all have all of those things. In fact, you know, they might have one each, you know, probably. So, but our brains don't interpret it that way. And I think that's a really important thing to remember.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I don't think I've actually ever thought about it like that. And it's a really good point. It really is. I'm looking at a feed that's curated to the things I love, but I'm seeing the best of the things I love. Whereas now I'm actually starting to put, because people are more open about it now online, putting people's mistakes in. It's actually quite nice.
Yeah, it's a lot more realistic, isn't it?
Exactly. Which beautifully segues me. See how I did this, pro podcaster. Where you're saying about getting gigs from posting online. I can't remember if we just talked about that or if that was in the previous laptop recording, but I'm going to carry on with this anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, posting online and getting gigs from that, it's something that I've definitely had quite a bit of success with.
Yeah.
It's something I've also never really gone after, to be fair. You know, I've never paid for promotion on any videos or anything like that.
You just think you're so good that people will just come to you.
People will they're just on their knees. Because they're trying to crawl through a tiny hole to escape, probably.
Now we have to mark this.
Now we have to contact HR. So, yeah, I've never really gone out to try and do that. But actually, it's really interesting that when you meet a new person, then, that they know a ton of people as well.
Yeah.
And that's so important. Like, one of my favorite things to do is play with new people. I mean, on Saturday I was on a gig, and I was playing with my good friend Carl, who I do a lot of gigs with, a lot of duo gigs. But it was actually a 4-piece on Saturday, and I hadn't met the bass player and I hadn't met the sax player. And like, we all got on super well, played really well together. And it was really great. Like we, exchanged contact details. I think I already had one of them on Facebook, but like, get them both on Facebook, get them on Instagram. And at least then like people are aware, they're aware of what you do a bit more. Because what you don't really want to do is like go, oh, I do this and this. And if you need a drummer, then contact me and do like, you don't want to be that guy. But actually, if you can just kind of, make genuine, honest connections with people, they will just happen to come across your stuff. They'll just see a bit more of what you do, and especially if they liked you on the gig, they enjoyed spending time around you, then they're going to be far more likely to pick up the phone because they've seen you play, they know you're decent to work with, and they've got your contact information. That's pretty much all there is to it, really.
Yeah, and there is the element as well of like, there's the classic saying of being consistent on social media when you post just to build a following, but there's also the element of like, if you're basically like us, where we're not necessarily, I mean, we are building a following but on a separate thing to like our professional Instagrams. There's the element of like, if you play on a gig like you say and they really like you and want it again, there's the element that you need to post mildly regularly so that they have that thought in their head that when they're scrolling through their curated feed, they see you and go, oh yeah, that guy, oh I need that person for that gig, that job, whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's something that we forget. And again, beautifully segueing on. Speaking of gigs, the last time, on the last episode for the people, for us, it was like 7 months ago. But for the people, they've just
grown an entire beard.
It's got a hat, it's a different colour now, and it's a whole thing. Which doesn't make sense if we don't upload the previous recording. Anyway. You were in America for ages, and you do a lot of, I'm going to say worldwide work, because you're constantly flying out places. How did you get that job? And what is that job, really?
So the other part of my work is as a video producer, basically, for a podcast production company, which is run by my half brother, Dan. And
hi, Dan.
We're based hello. We're based in in and around London, basically. We've also got an office in Denver as well. Ooh. So the company was started actually in 2020. Great time to start. And it was started at the time, or before COVID, I was working for Birmingham Music Services for Education as a drum teacher. And I was doing some whole class stuff and I was doing that sort of thing. I was also running my YouTube channel and trying to build that and doing video stuff like that. And in lockdown, obviously gigs stopped. My teaching went online, which was interesting because I didn't even have a drum kit at my girlfriend's flat. I just had a practice pad. So I taught drums online with no drum kit for about 8 months. And basically my brother started this company, and a lot of companies, they would normally go out to live events and things like that and promote their business, or they would have promotion sort of advertising budget, marketing budget that they couldn't really use for normal stuff. And podcasts were becoming more and more popular. So he had this idea. He'd been he'd done some radio hosting and things like that before, and hosted a radio show with a friend of his, things like that, local radio. And I don't know if he did hospital radio for a while as well, but it did all that sort of stuff. So he had that kind of background, but more of a corporate background to me. And obviously I had then the video and music background, and we ended up having a chat on the phone and realized that we've both got similar kind of, opposite skill sets, but a similar sort of, similar ideas in some respects, or at least crossing interests or ways we could help each other out. Sorry, my microphone stand is drooping a little bit.
Because we can't have the cold microphone to droop everybody.
Because
as we have learned in the first episode,
heavy.
You've got to keep Cole's microphone the right way up.
It's like a fully grown tortoise.
Oh, that's what you're talking into. I have wondered this whole time.
He just talks into a fully grown tortoise every episode. So, so anyway, enough about tortoises. So we basically started working together, and he started the company. So it was just the two of us basically working to start with. And then as things started to open up, he got an office, and I was obviously working mainly remotely, but I would help with any things that were face to face. Obviously, it was all like you had to do social distancing, face coverings, and all that stuff. But we did a few shoots.
A 70 to 200mm lens on.
Oh yeah, wildlife lens. Shoot from a different office block with nobody in it, like something from The Bourne Identity. But anyway, so yeah, we did that and gradually built. Well, I say built like it was me. It wasn't really me, but like he gradually built the team, and I've been around. So I lead video production for us now. So I do a lot of my job is both recording, filming podcasts. I do a lot of post production. I do any of our like promotional videos like show reels and things like that, and I do a lot of the face-to-face video recordings as well, which a lot of which are in London, and more recently over the last couple of years, a lot of which have been all over the world. So I went to America for the first time last year, which was San Francisco for 3 days. So that was really cool. That was for a conference, and that's what we do a lot more of now, and particularly leading at the next couple of months. I've got to go to Madrid in September for 4 days, New York for 4 days, then in October I'm in Houston, November I'm in Azerbaijan for COP29, and then I'm in Houston again in December.
It's just a mental amount of traveling.
Yeah, well, the thing with September is not only have I got sort of 8 days abroad, I've also got 9 gigs.
Oh yeah.
And then any normal work that I do for the company, and any normal work that I do for myself. For example, one of the other things I do is I run an Etsy store selling prints of my photography work.
They're really good.
You can see one behind me. Thank you. Is
that the one that's currently being covered by your chair?
Yeah.
Or the other one that's currently purely reflection?
One is a picture of my old car in the Lake District, and then the other one with the reflection is a print called Black Gold Sands, it's a black and white image that I took where there's like an oil rig graveyard in Inverness in Scotland.
That's cool.
And it was taken on like the most kind of gloomy, overcast day. It's my favorite photo I've ever taken. But that's one of my prints. So I do that as well. It doesn't really make me any money, but I sell like a couple of prints a month sometimes. I sold one yesterday.
Nice.
And yeah, it's another thing that I'd like to build. Basically, it's another thing that's kind of, once they're uploaded, then it's kind of passive. But the way I see it, so another thing that I do as part of my work, I've got this idea of like, I think passive income is a really good thing if you can make it work. Of course it is. The idea of making money while you're asleep, totally, I'm on board with that. And so one of the other things I do is I upload to stock websites as well. So I sell, stock footage, I sell stock photos on Shutterstock and Adobe Stock. The idea is, you take a photo on holiday, you upload it, and you can sell that image for the next 20 years. I mean, my most successful image on Etsy is a picture of the Kelpies, in Scotland. It's the 2 big horses, the big sculpture. When I checked yesterday, I think I've sold that image 11 times on Etsy, that is. So that's as print. So I think it had generated me about 480 quid. I took that picture on holiday, I reckon if I keep it up there for another 2 years, it will probably pay for my half the holiday. So it's like, okay, I'm going on holiday next week into Italy. I will definitely be taking photos. I'll definitely be uploading to Etsy, to the stock sites. And the idea is to build this huge bank of assets, basically. So if I had 2,000 assets that are always online, I sold a picture on the way home today. I had an email when I got home from Adobe Stock saying I've made 97p from selling an image.
Nice.
And it's like, it sounds silly, but if you have hundreds and hundreds of these images and again, like, you'll just find some of them will never sell, and some of them will just sell like every couple of weeks. They'll sell again and again, and it's like, it's exciting to me that I could potentially build that up. It's a slow burn. It's a really slow burn for sure, but there's no outlay, and it's just a nice extra thing to do, really.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like all the people that do that as their like a big passive income thing, it's because they built that over years and years and years.
It is.
It's because, like you say, they've got thousands of assets. So where can they find your Etsy store? Because I checked it out when you put it on your Instagram story, and I had no idea. And
so
it was really cool.
So I think it's just Harry Weston C, just like my Instagram. There's a link on my Instagram which is at Harry Weston C to the store.
Nice.
And yeah, there's about 70 prints on. I've actually taken a few down the last few days because some that have never sold, I don't want people to click off because there's images on there that aren't that good. So I've just removed them, basically.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I say, oh, it's really good, check it out, but I genuinely mean that as well.
No,
like,
cheers.
I had no idea that you did that sort of stuff, and normally it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, I'm being nice because I'm being a friend, but I was like, these are like professional grade photos, like you said. The ones behind you, it's like, I remember seeing the ones, I know the ones that you're talking about because I remember seeing them and going, yeah, that looks like someone like just genuinely professional, not like, oh, I'm someone taking a photo and I'm selling it now. It's like, it's a thing.
Yeah, cheers. I mean, that's it, because it's obviously, it's I do the video work as part of my actual work as well, but I don't, and I do some photography for the company as well, but mainly that's video. But yeah, the photography side of it, I do enjoy. And I've actually found recently I found a use for AI. which I'm not really on board massively with things like ChatGPT because of the amount of absolute crap that's written on the internet where it doesn't actually say anything, it's just words.
Yeah.
But for those who don't know, which is probably most people, if you've never done it, you would never know. You'd never have a reason to know. But when you upload to the stock websites, let's say you've got a folder with 50 pictures in it. You want to upload them all to Shutterstock and Adobe Stock. So you got two separate websites you got to do that for. And now each image you need to write a 200-character description and 50 keywords. It takes ages.
Yeah.
It takes absolutely ages because you're thinking, how many ways can I describe this picture of, whatever it might be? Yeah, a man in field with Wellington boots. And you're just going like, the sky is blue, the grass is green, there is a man, he is wearing a blue t-shirt. It's like,
it is a picture.
It's awful. So the other day I got the pro version of ChatGPT, which is like 18 quid a month. And literally I drag about 5 images at a time, say, describe this in 200 characters and give me 50 keywords separated by commas. And it goes blah, 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 copy and paste, done. So I can now upload images in like 40 seconds.
That's amazing.
So I'm going back through all my hard drives at the moment and just absolutely caning my, my Shutterstock and Adobe because it's like, now I know, now I can save myself time. I can actually do it because that's the worst bit. It's so dull. It's so dull to do it, especially when you sell an image. It's like 7p, which it can often be, But
that's it.
It's it's a whole thing.
There you go, listeners. So go through all your photos, find your good ones, go to ChatGPT. That's the thing. And that's how you can also earn 19p.
19p?
There we go. But so,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Take that, HMRC. So going back to like the America stuff. Do you remember when, and again, because I know you're a video producer, which I also think is really funny that you forgot to plug in your microphone for this podcast and you're on a laptop camera, which I think is hilarious.
Well, I'm not on a laptop camera because we will replace it with the other one for the post. They will never see the laptop camera. They will see only my Lumix.
That's what you think. But do you remember
puts the picture upside down as well, so it looks like I got the laptop upside down. But yeah, America was it was a big trip for me, and it was the longest I've ever been away from home.
20 nights?
19, I think it was 19 days, so maybe. So 18 nights, but yeah, it was a big old trip, and
a slog.
Well, I had a lot of downtime, to be fair. I had some time in San Francisco by myself, so I drove to Sacramento in a rented electric car, which is a Mustang Mach-E, which has the worst visibility of any automobile I've ever been in.
Does it?
I was sticking my head out the window just to see when I was changing lanes, which is fine until you remember that it's so hot that you have to have the air conditioning on, and you haven't opened the window, so you just hit your head off it. And honestly, the rear quarter window in a Mustang Mach-E, you've got the side window next to the driver, and then you've got the rear window where like the person sitting in the back would look out, and then you got like the little quarter window for like blind spot before the back window. Yeah, honestly, it's the size of a Dorito in a Mustang Mach-E. It's like they've just put window tint on a crisp. It is absolutely awful, and I just genuinely was terrified driving it about. I've never felt like in any car like. It was not good, but yeah, the actual experience was good, and I managed to have a good look around, and went to Alcatraz and did all that kind of stuff. So,
did you swim to Alcatraz?
I can't swim.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? So I didn't mean for that to be so like why? What's
Failure.
wrong with you?
Well, we had lessons at primary school, and I hated it.
Yeah.
And it basically everyone else progressed and I didn't.
Well, yeah, that's what happens if you hate it.
Yeah, and so in the end, I was in like year 5 or 6, and they just every week put me in the little pool with like all the kids with like 5-year-olds with armbands, and I was just like tower above them. Wearing armbands, but that aren't even in the water. It was traumatic, to be honest. It was not good. I would purposely try and forget my swimming stuff so that I could just sit and not do it, and look at the vending machines was what I used to do. Not eat anything from them, but I would just look at them.
And this would be back like 20 years ago. So
it wouldn't have been that. It would have. Well, no, yeah,
15, 20.
I would have been. Yeah, I would have been like 10 or 11 in the end. Was nice. So
the point where the vending machines, they just like chuck it out. Hopefully, sometimes not the fancy robotic ones that like eek and then get it all fancy like.
Yeah, it would have just been the ones where it just drops to the bottom. It wasn't particularly exciting. to be honest, especially
And
when
you
you can eat
can
anything
say
from
that
it.
with confidence.
Yeah, like I was there. I was there. That's what I used to do. I hated it. So my mate tried to teach me a few months ago, and I need to have another lesson. But the place we've booked in Italy for holiday, it has a pool, and my girlfriend bought me some swimming trunks the other day.
I was really hoping you were going to say armbands.
No, she didn't buy me armbands. I think she's just trying to get rid of me, really. You know.
So, she actually bought you a weight to wear when you
yeah. They're sort of weighted swimming trunks. Is that normal? Is it the lead? You know the lead ones.
Oh yeah.
You know the ones with a house brick tied to them.
Great for the skin as well.
Great as well.
Skin.
Love it.
So
yeah.
what? I'm
Sorry,
intrigued.
this mic is so heavy. Sorry,
So-
I keep
so
adjusting
trippy.
this. I keep adjusting this.
Well, at least we can hear you adjusting it now.
It's because It's because I got so much arm on this stand as well. I'm making
Look
it
at you.
harder for the stand.
So much arm on your
So much arm. Look at him with his arms.
Not to dive too much in. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. So what happens if you were to get in the water right now? What would happen?
I would probably just die.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I don't know what I expected from that.
I mean,
I
did all right on the swimming lesson, but
nice.
Fortunately, my friend's friend is an actual swimming instructor.
Oh,
and he helped me out, but I just felt like a moron, to be honest. You know, when it's like you asked to do something that's so basic. Well, no, it isn't basic, but it is.
Well, I mean,
it's a human thing.
it's-
Small dogs can do it. Naturally, they can do it. I think even worms can swim, can't they?
can they? Snakes can swim.
They're like big worms, aren't they?
Basically, yeah.
But I get really frustrated when there's a basic thing and I can't do it. The one recently is, so I hate wearing glasses. Absolutely hate it. And so I've been trying to get contacts
at some point.
Yes, I was.
I listen.
So yeah. So I went to Contact Savers. No, Specsavers. I went to Specsavers. Sorry.
Ironic because
Contact
you're wearing glasses.
Savers. And I booked an appointment. You know, they got the prescription done. They were like, right, come back. Contact lens fitting, perfect.
Nice.
This woman comes at me with a contact lens. Honestly, mate, it's amazing I didn't try and karate chop her in the head when she came at me with this thing on the end of her finger.
Oh,
it was like
try and
yeah, they try and jam
my
it in
God.
themselves, and then she went, right, this isn't going to work. You try it. So I had to go to another room upstairs where they put the idiots, I think. And this other one was trying to help me with the non-swimmers, and she was trying to help me. I had it on my finger, mate. I couldn't hold my eyes open. I couldn't do it. I was there for like 45 minutes trying to poke myself in the eye with this bit of rubber or whatever they made it. Well, they're not rubber, are they? But you know what I mean.
Whatever it is.
And and they went, "Do you want to come back another day?" And I was like, I really don't. I really don't. They were like, "Why don't you practice in the week? Practice without them, by the way. Stand in front of the mirror,
what?
poke yourself in the eye all week."
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Well, no, actually, I should have done the following week, but I booked another appointment. They were like, right, when you come back, most people second time. They come back and it's fine. I was like, okay.
All 4 people that have had to do this out of 10,000.
All 4 people who couldn't do it immediately, like a normal person.
What? Why didn't they give you the contact?
No, they can't because you might get it stuck in your eye.
But surely, if you could put it in, that would happen anyway. That's just an inevitable.
I don't know. I don't know because my next fit. So I went back for the second appointment. Couldn't do it. They said, have another practice. Have a look on YouTube is what they said. Have a look on YouTube. So that's what I got to do now. And I come out of the shower every morning at the moment, try and hold my eyelid open for a few seconds and then get dressed. It's absolutely awful. And so I've got to book a third appointment now, but I don't feel confident enough to do it yet. And then I'm worried if I do it, I'm not going to be able to get the thing out.
Because that's only half the journey.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. So that's my next panic. But I'm determined to get rid of glasses because I hate wearing them.
But you look so lovely.
No, I hate it. It's rubbish. And I don't wear them when I climb, so I can't really see the wall very well. So that's annoying. And I won't wear them on stage. So I have the biggest iPad they sell with the biggest font they do on it. It's 13-inch iPad. And like font like 120.
You know when you see
crap.
people with impaired vision, there you go, and they're on their phone, and one app takes up the entire screen. This is what I'm envisioning, but on an iPad.
That's what it's like. I'm going to get one of those giant phones that they give to that they have in retirement villages in a minute.
So what is your vision in terms of How
crap.
terrible is your vision?
Well, it's long-sightedness, I think.
So
No,
it's things
sure.
far away
I don't
that you
know.
can't see.
Things far away I can't see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be able to see through walls or anything. I just want to be able to sort of see number plates. You know.
What else can't you do? What else?
Bloody hell, this is heavy, isn't it, today? This is hard today. Well, I've got no money. I can't. No self-respect. No
tax thing. Love that.
Yeah, that's good and fun.
Can't
I
put
had
in the eye.
I had a couple of weeks, mate. Honestly, every second day I was getting a 400 quid bill that I wasn't expecting
What?
for various things. Car insurance due.
Oh yeah.
450 quid. Other car insurance due. 450 quid. Council tax thingy that was like we had the wrong bank account linked to.
Great.
450 quid or whatever it was. You know, some other rubbish, and then half of next year's tax. I had another big bill for that. Just endless, just like, wow. And then I've had to book a rent-a-kill because we got flies in our loft.
Great.
And when I mean flies, I mean we open the loft door, dead flies fall from the loft hatch onto the floor. You have to hoover them all up.
That.
Yeah. So
Just
obviously,
one thing, relentless.
haven't been in the loft for months.
That's why they're all flies up there. That's why it's their home now.
It's their home now. They could pay a bit of the bloody mortgage, couldn't they? Could chip in a little bit, do a bit of hoovering or something.
Anything.
Don't get in the hoover, mate. Have a go on it. So there's that. No, yeah, it's been a difficult couple of weeks in some respects, actually.
I was going to say, and we talked about it on voice notes, but just like on the more serious side of things, like we laugh, but on the mental side of things, that is really tough as a freelancer.
Yeah,
Whereas,
it's
like,
taxing, you know.
Yeah, well,
No, I wasn't a joke, but it can be if you want. Have a little laugh, people. Have a little laugh. Take the mind off it.
spend a little bit of a cry.
Yeah.
But it is
one.
because, like I said to you, it's you. We both got like lists of like which invoices are due, that sort of stuff, and you can see, and I'm sure lots of freelancers know this as well. You can see the total, and you know money's coming in, but you just don't know when. Like it should be within 30 days, but that, you know, and then another bill comes in. It's like, well, I know that it's going to be paid off, but then that's going to cover what the bill was, and you still need more, and it's just it's a whole.
That's it. I had a thing on the weekend. Like I had 2 quite nice gigs on the weekend, and like all of that money was already spoken for before I'd earned it, and it's just like it's just like, come on, man, like. You know, and basically I worked out I'm not organised enough financially. I've not been organised enough. So what I did the other day was I made a big list on my big iPad of of all of my monthly and annual expenses.
Yeah.
And then the annual ones I divided by 12 to work out what I should be putting aside every month for those, you know. So car insurance, you know, I need to put aside, if it's 450 quid, I need to put aside like £40 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
So that when it comes, money's there. But you know, so there's certain things I should be doing, basically. But, you know, I mean, I did what I thought was right at the time. You know, I tried to offset some profit, to be honest, this year, you know, by trying to invest some money as well, which helps massively. But and I had to buy some equipment, things like that. But, you know, if I would have left the money in the bank, it would have been worse in a way.
Yeah. And
but
like it's exactly.
It's a balance, isn't it?
Just to end on I don't know if it's a quick tip. I've probably loads of people do it and know it already. But like loads of bank accounts now have like Monzo. I use that as my main bank account at the moment, and they have like their instant quick saver for like right now as this podcast, it's like 4.35%. I think of interest.
Yeah.
So what I do, obviously, where tax comes out every 6 months, I put all of the like tax expenses into that, and that will obviously gradually build over 6 months, and then I'll get interest on that as well. So it'll never be huge, but by the time I get up to that 6.6 month mark, it means that I have a little bit extra. And then, like we were saying about car insurance expenses and things like that, that's where it's like, oh, you can look at opening like and again, you may know this is just for people that might not do it. You can look at other bank accounts like Revolut and Chase Bank and stuff like that, and do the same thing for all of these expenses. So those expenses are still earning you some money, and it's not just, like you said, just sitting there. But there's without being this, like I see why people have accountants, because it's just really hard, because I do the same thing. It's like, well, last year I thought I was really good and I had it like down, and the same thing, I had loads of essentially surprise bills, and I was like, oh, okay. And then this year I was like, right, I've learned from last year, so this year I can do it better. Guarantees, like surprise bill later.
Yeah, this is the thing. You can only prep so much, and being a freelancer, you're less you're more susceptible to those surprise bills because, like you say, the money might have been earned, but it doesn't mean it's been paid to you yet. You know,
Exactly.
it doesn't mean that like it's definitely going to be there. And the worst bit as well. My friend said to me the other day. Obviously, if you're employed, the tax is taken from you before you even see it. So
that's
you don't have to worry about, I need to keep this ready, because you never see it.
Yeah,
and in a way, it would be easier if that was the case, because it's not like you've got to have it and then get rid of it, because that see it go out, because that's horrendous,
Yeah.
But if it was just gone, then it would be different. But like you say, if you can set up a standing order to an account that you never look at and it's just there, that's the way forward. But yeah, I could be more organized. I'm trying to get more organized, but
it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, it is. It is hard. Like, I always think if you did what you thought was right at the time, then
that's it.
What more could you have asked of yourself?
Yeah,
really?
as long as you make the next day better than the one before, then you've
yeah.
achieved.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you can do in it. And the situation's constantly changing, isn't it? So
it really is.
Yeah.
And with that,
shall we end there?
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
They'll love that. They'll be lapping that up. Little drives. My little drives. They're tiny lives. No, sorry. Attack the viewer. No.
You got to attack the viewer at least once in a podcast. Come on now.
Tiny, meaningless lap there.
Bye, everybody.
Anyway, buy our non-existent merch. No, we don't have any.
You don't know that. I'm going to stop recording.